the Barangay Ginebra Kings tried, but failed again.
And still, Barangay Ginebra has not turned the tables on San Miguel Beer that now jumps to a 2-0 lead in this series in the best of 7.
We've been here before. It's nothing new, but it's so hard to play catch up against San Miguel. Konting trabaho pa.
We're going to keep playing hard, I think. We're not going to give up. The fans know that. San Miguel knows that.
Jay Washington and Dondon Ontiveros form a double-barrel threat as the Beermen erected a 2-game lead.
Over to Jay Wash, launches. Boom, 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 boom.
Just keep playing hard, man, and just keep doing what we talk about in practice, and our game plan. Just stick to our game plan, which is play defense.
Kicks it over to Dondon. 3 if it bites. What a big basket there by Dondon.
They've been preparing for Jay Wash and Alex, then yun nga ako yung nalilipis. Ang kuching pumapasok yung tira ko.
The embattled Kings are searching for an antidote.
Still a long series, we got a long way to go, and we'll do everything we can para magtutupan yung series.
The commanding Beermen looking to take the series away.
I think if we can get Sunday's game, go up 3-0, I think that'll pretty much take the fight out of it.
Just one game at a time lang kami. Focus lang kami every game.
Will it be never say die or do or die for the Kings? The answer coming up in Game 3.
Isang magandang gabi po sa kanilang lahat. This is PBA Sold Out Semifinal Sunday inside the championship capital of Philippine basketball. And tonight, two teams meet again. At bagamat si Anthony J. Washington has been destroying Ginebra's defense, Mark Aguiwa and the rest of the Gen Kings can still afford to be optimistic. Yes, San Miguel is up 2-0 in this best of 7 series. Pero yan ang bumubuhay sa naniniwala. Even down 0-2, Ginebra can bounce back and everything will change if Ginebra wins tonight. Miko Alili kasama El Decano, Senyor, Kinito, Henson, and Ginebra, it's in a must-win situation dito sa game number 3.
Well, if they lose this one, they're going to be down 0-3. But if there's any team that can come back from 0-2 and make this a series, a tight series, it's got to be Ginebra. However, history is not on the side of Ginebra. Ginebra and San Miguel Beer have played 4 times so far this conference. Ni isang game, wala pa napapanalo ang Ginebra. If you take a look at the head-to-head series this conference, you see the semis Game 1 and Game 2. You see the elimination scores. All the games have been close, but the common denominator, Barangay Ginebra has still to beat San Miguel 1 game in this conference.
And what was alarming, although yung muling laro was close, over 100 points.
Exactly.
For both teams.
Oh, we also know that Ginebra is the #1 team in defense sa liga natin, giving up over 100 points to San Miguel Beer. That shows that there are cracks now in the defense of Barangay Ginebra. Also, Ginebra, prior to the semifinals, holding opponents to an average of less than 40% shooting. In this series, San Miguel Beer has done very well from the field. As you can see here, the key stats in our series averages: field goal percentage, San Miguel 44% shooting, while Barangay Ginebra less than 40%. Check out the bench scoring, where Barangay Ginebra has a decided edge. That's plus 16 right there. But in the starter scoring, malaking lamang ng San Miguel. Meaning to say, in a close game, and we have had close games every time these two teams meet, poise is going to make a difference. And with San Miguel, their starters show a lot of poise down the stretch.
And 2 of those San Miguel starters really exploded in game number 2. People are saying, bakit ba tawag dito sa lineup na San Miguel an all-star lineup? Because they have several players who play at an all-star level during big games. Washington and Dondon Ontiveros.
I'll tell you, with Jay Washington exploding in game number 2 and Dondon Ontiveros, you've got 2 players who can light it up from inside and outside. You take a look at the 3-point percentage of Jay Washington, 40%, and then 6 out of 9 for Dondon Ontiveros, combining for 10 3-point burials. I say conversions from that area for San Miguel, because they buried Barangay Ginebra from that distance. 13 3-point conversions by San Miguel Beer overall in game number 2.
Ontiveros now is a new headache, but Washington has been such a conundrum for this entire conference for Ginebra's defense. Now let's talk about Ginebra's front line, Kinito. This front line, so much pressure on them to hold the fort for Ginebra, especially here in game number 3.
Well, the front line of Barangay Ginebra, manned by Rudy Hatfield and Enrico Villanueva, they're not only expected to get the rebounds and dominate the inside, they're expected to play tough defense. The problem with Hatfield is that when he goes up against Jay Washington, who's playing outside, if he plays the three spot, it forces Rudy Hatfield to move away from the shaded area and out into the perimeter. That means nagkukulang na ngayon ang Barangay Ginebra from rebounding, and Rico Villanueva has to make up for that. But I think that has been the big ace of San Miguel. The fact that Jay Washington, because of his versatility, has been able to play and can play adequately number 3 or number 4. Remember, you also have an Arvin Santos who can also play 3 and number 4. So you've got those two players who are very interchangeable in that position. Both of them can create tremendous mismatch advantages for them.
Well, itong Ginebra at ang San Miguel, they want to pass the test. And that's why we're looking at the Dean's List. If you don't pass the test, you might get kicked out of the series. Unahin natin ang Dean's List para sa San Miguel Beermen. They're gunning for a commanding 3-0 lead in tonight's game.
Well, Nico, we were talking about poise because for San Miguel, you need to have a big lead against them at the start and then try to preserve it, because in a close game, the poise of San Miguel is going to show. They need to be able to control the defensive boards, because in the first 2 games of this series, actually it's been Barangay Ginebra who's been lording it over the offensive boards and getting a lot of second chance points. Capitalize on the turnovers. That was a big stat in game number 2, when San Miguel had 15 turnover points and only 9 for Ginebra. They need to be aggressive going to the hole. That means getting to the free throw line, getting those inside points, getting the penetrations, getting the putbacks. All of those things San Miguel Pier must be able to do. And if you've got Ginebra short-handed inside, because Hatfield has to patrol the outside, trying to play catch-up against Jay Washington, then it's going to be open season here for San Miguel, moving inside.
Well, Eric Meng, obviously still not 100%. People don't know if Rico Villanueva can have another stellar game, and Ginebra is down 0-2. Kaya nga, ang battle cry ng Ginebra, as it has always been, is never say die. Yan ang tema ng Dean's List for the Gin Kings.
And that's how it must be. For Barangay Ginebra, they cannot say die in this one. And it's a must-win situation for them. You don't want Barangay Ginebra going down 0-3. They need to play that no-risk defense that's so important. Meaning to say, wag nilang pababayaan ng San Miguel. Just take those easy outside shots and hope that they get the defensive boards, because San Miguel burned Ginebra with 13 3-point conversions in game number 2. They need to clog the passing lanes, because 21 assists for San Miguel in game number 2. That's just far too many for a good defensive team like Barangay Ginebra to give up. And finally, they need to step up the pace. This is Barangay Ginebra's type of game. Run and gun, the blitz style, the fast break, the transition game. We haven't seen that in this series. In game number 2, Barangay Ginebra only had 5 fast break points against 9 for San Miguel Beer. And what a disparity. San Miguel even had more transition points than Ginebra. Ginebra must be able to control those defensive boards and get that ball moving. They need to put pace behind that ball and play transition. That is their game.
Well, that running game will certainly get this mammoth crowd part of game number 3 of this series. Nakabantay naman sa kampo ng San Miguel, Marga Vargas. Marga, take it away.
The San Miguel Beermen is halfway into their quest into making it into the finals. They said they're prepared for the highly physical game that the Gin Kings are going to give them tonight. But of course, Dorian Peña is reminded of how it was back in 2007, also in the Philippine Cup, where they were in the same situation, but the Gin Kings won against them. So tonight, he said it's all about focus, and the goal is to make it 3-0 to nothing. Now let's go over to Patricia Hizon.
Thanks a lot, Marga. Now, I asked JJ Helterbrand about his motivation tonight. He says he just knows that they can beat the San Miguel Beermen. Sure, they lost 69-68 twice in the eliminations and by 2 points in Game 1 of the semifinals. Their 6-point losses, their worst showing ever in this conference so far against the Beermen. He says we get so close, but just can't close out. But he says it's not over yet. I asked if the 2 losses took the fight out of them. Helterbrand says, on the contrary, it just made them want to beat them even more. When you know you can beat a team like that, you just get pumped up even more. Nico, Nico?
Salamat, Marga. Salamat, Patricia. And really, Ginebra's game plan right now to score their first win. Una. Sinaharap nila kanilang unang panalo laban sa San Miguel, not just in the series, but in the entire conference. So we'll bring you game number 3 Ginebra versus San Miguel, live on Solar TV after these reminders.
Sunday's second game as we continue with the 2010-2011 PBA Philippine Cup. It is game number 3 of the semifinals between the San Miguel Beermen and the Barangay Ginebra Kings. And now, please welcome the starting lineup of your San Miguel Beermen. At guard, number 5, Alex Camagnot. At shooting guard, number 7, Don Ontiveros. At center, number 4, Dorian Pena. At small forward, number 23, Jay Washington. And at power forward, number 29, Arwin Santos. Head coach of the Beermen is Ato Agustin. And now, please welcome the starting lineup of your Barangay Ginebra Kings. At guard, number 21, Mike Cortez. At shooting guard, number 47, Mark Aguila. At center, number 23, Rico Villanueva. At small forward, number 71, Ronald Tubin. And at power forward, number 99, Rudy Hatfield. Head coach of the Jin Kings is John Wichigo.
And here are your primary protagonists. Walang galawan ng starting lineup ng San Miguel. At bakit naman hindi? They are up 2 games to none. Ang Ginebra, litaw na litaw ang pagkapasok dito ni Mark Caguiwa.
First time that he's going to be starting in the semifinals. Si Mark Caguiwa has been coming off the bench. This time, Coach Joseph Chico wants to start strong and wants to strike hard very, very early.
A great look at our new scoreboard, dubbed The Cube. May pangalan pa.
You know, that scoreboard, by the way, is 400% bigger than the scoreboard previously. And that's a major difference in terms of size and in clarity. But I understand it's 10 millimeter pixels.
Yep.
And the smaller the pixels, the clearer and the brighter.
I hate to say this, but it's just 10% bigger than my TV in my room.
Wow. That's probably your own house.
Ito na, nagsimula na tayo, and there's Pena immediately going to work. At ang babantayan natin dito po sa first 5 minutes is what Ginebra needs, as you said, a strong start here in game number 3.
Well, that time, Dorian Pena had all the spacing he wanted. And I think that's going to be key for San Miguel to have that space for the big men to operate inside. And for Ginebra, the challenge is to congest that shaded area.
Ano po nagagalak na makasalo kayong lahat? It's a sold-out Sunday crowd inside the Big Dome. Ginebra, by the way, in immaculate white as Mark Caguiwa gets Ginebra on the scoreboard. Samantalang ang San Miguel naman, they are in fighting red.
And that's why he's starting. Coach Joseph Chico wants Mark Caguiwa to establish his offensive game very early. Now you watch the matchup. Arwin Santos up against a much smaller Ronald Tubit. So maybe in this game you're going to see Santos get the ball a lot more than usual.
Mike Cortez stops and pops. And battle for the rebound. It goes to Cabagdot. I told Alex Cabagdot, if he scores another game winner, I will shave my eyebrows.
You told him that?
Hindi naman kontrata yun. I can back out anytime.
Kasi if you told him, I'm sure he'll try to do it.
Look at that split back there by Arwin Santos.
A domination. Offensive boards. And that's an area that I was saying that San Miguel really must key on, because it was actually in the offensive boards that they were really getting killed by Barangay Ginebra in the first 2 games.
Villanueva coming off his best game in the conference. He had 17 points and 7 rebounds in game number 2.
And this matchup of the series, Rudy Hatfield against Jay Washington. Hatfield really has his hands full. He's expected not only to play defense against Washington, but also to keep them stable underneath. And there's Hatfield giving up the foul. Last line of defense, Shambu Bagsak, siya pa may foul.